Men are testing you every single day, and most of the time you don't even realize it. And here's the truth. Fail the test and you lose his respect. Pass it and you become unforgettable. They're not saying it out loud, but with every silence, every delay, every little tease, he's checking something about you. Today, I'm going to show you how to spot these tests, and more importantly, how to pass them every time. Think about the last time he went quiet for hours, or teased you in a way that felt a little too sharp. You probably thought it was random, but it wasn't. It was his way of seeing. Will you chase? Will you get angry? Or will you stay calm, confident, and in control? Because that's the difference between a woman he keeps around and a woman he keeps forever. If this is already making you think about your own situation, pause for a second and hit subscribe, because the next few minutes might just save you months of heartbreak and put you back in the driver's seat. Ladies, let me share something that can shift the way you look at relationships forever. Men test you without saying a word. From the instant you step into a room, before you've even greeted anyone, that man is already observing. He's taking quiet mental notes, silently deciding what kind of woman you are and whether you're someone he can admire, respect, and possibly build a future with. And the surprising part is, most women don't even realize this is happening. See, men don't always express things the way women do. We're not going to sit there and spell out every thought. Instead, we test silently through small behaviors, through how we treat you in different situations, and most importantly, through how you respond. Every late night text, every sudden change of plans, every pause in communication, it's not random. It's a test to see if you know your value, if you protect your boundaries, and if you have the confidence to stay true to yourself. This isn't about playing games, it's about clarity. A good man wants to see if you're consistent, if you're real, and if you can communicate in a way that builds trust. He wants to see if you have the patience to let something genuine grow, and the strength to walk away when it's no longer right for you. In this talk, we're digging into how men think, how they test, and most importantly, how you can pass those quiet tests without losing yourself. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to navigate the unspoken ways men assess relationships and how to position yourself for the love, respect, and commitment you truly deserve. Ladies, let me make this clear. Men aren't as complicated as you may think, but we're also not as basic as some people make us out to be. A man can sit across from you, not say a word, and still be telling you everything you need to know, but you've got to understand how to read it. Men by nature are watchers. We observe, we analyze, and we make mental notes long before we ever open our mouths. That's why sometimes you feel like you don't know what a man is thinking. The truth is, he's already decided something about you, your energy, and the situation. He just hasn't voiced it yet. Here's what most women don't. Women talk to figure things out. Men think it through first, then act. That's why you need to focus not only on what he says, but on what he does and how he behaves around you. A man's silence isn't always bad. Sometimes that quiet is his way of measuring if the two of you are truly compatible, figuring out where you belong in his life or if you even belong there at all. When a man goes quiet, his actions become the language you need to pay attention to. Does he open the door for you? Does he reach out first or only when it suits him? Does he follow through on promises? These quiet behaviors are his way of showing you where his mind is. And trust me, they tell you more than his words ever could. The hard part is, many women misread that silence. They think, he's not talking, so maybe he's losing interest. He's not saying anything, so maybe I should try harder. No, that's not it. What you should do is relax, observe, and match his effort. If a man is quietly observing, that's your chance to show him your real self without forcing it. Be genuine, because when a man tests silently, he's looking for the authentic you, not the version you put on for the first few dates. Now here's the part most people don't mention. Men think in patterns. We pay attention to your actions over time. A man could be into you at first, but if he notices you're inconsistent, saying one thing and doing another, That quiet observation turns into silent judgment. That's when you'll see a man slowly distance himself without an explanation, because in his head, the test results are already in, and they're not looking good. But it works the other way too. If you're steady, confident, and you keep your standards high, without being difficult or dramatic, that man will silently raise his respect for you. He might not say it directly, but you'll feel it in the way he treats you. Men also think ahead, and they do this silently. When a man is serious about you, even if he hasn't said it, you'll start noticing subtle signs. He begins including you in plans, checking up on you, making sure you're okay without being asked. That's his quiet way of saying, "I see you in my future," long before he puts it into words. So, silence in a man is not emptiness, it's processing. It's him trying to figure out where you belong in his world and what role you might play in his story. So, when you're with a man who isn't saying much, don't panic, don't overthink. Watch his effort, watch his consistency, watch the little things. Men reveal everything without speaking, you just have to listen with your eyes. Now, about first impressions. Ladies, this matters more than you think. That first impression you make sets the foundation for everything that comes after. Men may not openly talk about it, but trust me, we are noticing from the very first moment. The way you walk in, the confidence in your posture, the energy in your presence. All of it sends a signal. And here's the tough part. Once a man forms that first impression, it's not easy to change it. That's why those first few moments matter so much, because whether you realize it or not, he's already evaluating. But don't get it wrong when I say first impressions. I'm not saying you need to be perfect or look like you're stepping out of a magazine cover. Men are not running beauty pageants. At least the good ones aren't. What we're noticing goes way deeper. It's about your energy, your confidence, your presence. The way you carry yourself tells us if you know your worth. When you walk into a space like you belong, not arrogant but assured, that speaks louder than anything else. A man can immediately notice a woman who knows herself and doesn't need outside approval. Yes, men are visual creatures, no denying that. But it's not just about your looks. It's about how you own those looks and how you carry yourself with them. You don't need the most expensive outfit or the fanciest hairstyle to make a strong impression. What truly matters is the confidence behind it. A plain dress worn with self-assurance will always stand out more than a designer piece worn with doubt. Men notice that energy much faster than most women think. We can sense if you're comfortable in your own skin, or if you're pretending to be someone you're not. Another factor that shapes a lasting first impression is how you communicate without saying much. Body language is actually the first language men pay attention to. A genuine smile, steady eye contact, and relaxed posture show that you're approachable and confident. On the other hand, nervous movements, avoiding eye contact, or trying too hard to get attention can give off signals you may not intend. Men pick up on these things quickly, and they start forming opinions right then and there. That's why being real is so important. If you're naturally shy, own it. If you're fun and outgoing, embrace that too. Just don't try to put on a performance, because men can tell when you're pretending instead of being genuine. And here's a little secret. Men also pay attention to how you treat yourself and others in those very first moments. The way you talk to the waiter, the way you describe your friends, even the way you react when something small goes wrong. Those are all signs to us. They reveal what kind of person you are. Are you thoughtful? Are you patient? Do you respect yourself? Are you down to earth? These early details give us a preview of what life with you might look like, and believe me, we're paying attention, even if we don't mention it. The energy you carry is what makes the difference. You could be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if your presence shows insecurity, entitlement, or negativity, a good man will step back. But a woman who shines with warmth, self-respect, and quiet confidence, that's unforgettable. That's the type of impression that sticks. That's the moment when a man thinks to himself, I need to know her better. So when you're thinking about first impressions, remember it's not about perfection. It's about being real. Be comfortable with yourself. Walk in with your head high. speak with clarity, and let your natural confidence do the work, because men aren't just looking for someone who looks good, they're looking for someone who feels good to be around. And when you bring that kind of presence, your first impression speaks louder than any words ever could. Now let's talk about the subtle signs he's testing you. Ladies, here's something most people won't openly admit. Men test women all the time, and they rarely say it out loud. It's not always about games. Often, it's about figuring out what kind of woman you are and how you'd fit into his world. These little tests are quiet and easy to miss if you don't know what to watch for. But trust me, they're happening. And the way you respond sets the tone for where the relationship will go, whether it stays casual or becomes serious. One of the first silent tests a man gives is about boundaries. This is the easiest way for him to see what he can get away with and what he can't. He might call you late at night just to check if you'll answer. He might cancel plans at the last minute to see how you respond. He might make a joke that goes a little too far to see if you laugh it off or call him out. None of these things are random. He's watching. He's paying attention to whether you're a woman who sets clear standards or someone who lets things slide out of fear of losing him. The moment you allow something you're not okay with, he takes note of it. And trust me, he won't forget. Another subtle test is communication. A man might go quiet for a day or two just to see your reaction. Do you panic and blow up his phone? Do you get angry? Or do you stay calm and give him space? Men watch closely because this shows whether you're confident enough to stand steady on your own or if you'll become needy and insecure. When you prove you're secure enough to let him have his space, that earns a level of respect that's hard to take away. Then there's the effort test. A man may do small things to see how much you value yourself. Maybe he asks you to come over last minute without making actual plans. Maybe he suggests splitting the bill when you know he can easily cover it. Maybe he forgets to call when he said he would, just to see how you'll respond. These small actions tell him everything about how you value your time, your energy, and yourself. Men notice when you accept crumbs, and they notice when you hold the bar higher. Pay attention also to how a man observes you when you're around others. If you're out together, he's watching how you treat the server, how you talk to strangers, how you interact with his friends. He's checking if you're kind, respectful, or quick to attitude. Those small details reveal what kind of partner you'd be long term. If you're rude to the waiter or dismissive with his friends, don't think he didn't see it, because he did, and chances are he won't look at you the same way again. Another major test is pace. Men want to know if you'll pressure them to move faster than they're ready for, or if you're willing to let the connection build naturally. That doesn't mean waiting forever, but it does mean showing you're not desperate, that you're in control of your emotions, and that you're confident enough to let things unfold at a healthy rhythm. When a man sees you're not pushing him, he realizes you're not just chasing a relationship, you're searching for the right connection. At the end of the day, men test without speaking because they want to know if you're the real deal. They want to see if you respect yourself, if you're confident, if you're patient, and if you have the standards to hold them accountable. The key is to stay true to who you are. Don't react with desperation. Don't try to pass his tests by pretending. The women who pass every silent test are the ones who stand tall in their worth, and that is the kind of woman a man never forgets. So how do you pass his unspoken tests? Ladies, let's be real. Men are always watching, even when they don't say anything. From the very first interaction, he's noticing everything. How you speak, how you carry yourself, how you react when things get tough. These silent tests happen in almost every moment, and whether you know it or not, you're passing or failing them in real time. But here's the good news. Passing these unspoken tests doesn't mean you have to play tricks, chase after someone, or turn yourself into a different person. It's really about knowing who you are, standing strong in your own value, and letting your calm confidence speak louder than anything else. The first step to passing these silent tests is to set and protect your boundaries. A man will often test your limits, sometimes on purpose and sometimes without even realizing it. Maybe he texts you late at night to check if you'll answer. Maybe he cancels plans at the last moment to see if you'll just accept it. Or maybe he shifts the talk into something you're not ready for, just to watch how you react. The key is to hold your ground in a respectful but steady way. You don't have to shout or make a scene. A calm, clear, "No, that doesn't work for me," speaks louder than any fight. Men respect women who respect themselves, because it shows you have standards and you're not afraid to stand by them. Another important part of passing these quiet tests is being consistent. Men pay close attention to patterns. If you say one thing but keep doing something else, they notice it fast. Consistency shows that you're reliable, self-assured, and confident in who you are. If you say you won't put up with certain behavior, stay true to that. If you say you want honest and clear communication, don't keep entertaining someone who constantly leaves you unsure. When a man sees that your words and actions match, he realizes he's dealing with someone who values herself, and that always earns respect. Patience is another test you can't ignore. Men often take time to figure out their feelings and what they really want. That doesn't mean you should wait around endlessly for someone who isn't serious, but it does mean you should allow things to develop naturally instead of forcing them. When you stay calm and focused on your own life instead of demanding quick answers, you're sending a powerful message that you're not desperate, that you're in control of yourself, and that your time matters. Insight is your time that brings you power. That kind of calm confidence is attractive, and it pushes a man to rise to your level. Confidence, in fact, is the most powerful way to pass any hidden test. When you know your value, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You become the prize. And here's the truth. Men can feel that confidence without you having to say a single word. It's in how you walk, how you speak, and how you hold your own in every situation. When you're sure of yourself, you don't overreact to his silence, his tests, or his delays. Because deep down you know you bring value, and the right man will see that clearly. Staying true to yourself is another big part of passing these quiet tests. Many women lose themselves by trying to be the kind of person they think a man wants. But the right man, the one who's serious, isn't chasing perfection. He's looking for the real you. If you love reading, don't act like you're into sports just to impress. If you enjoy peaceful nights at home, don't pretend you're all about partying every weekend. A man who is worth your time isn't testing you to change you. He's testing to see if you're genuine. Being real is what builds trust. And trust is the base of every lasting relationship. And never forget, keep your own life full. A man will respect a woman who is independent, who has her own dreams, her own friends, and her own goals. When you make yourself the center of your own life instead of making him the center of it all, you pass the biggest test of all. It shows him you're with him by choice, not because you can't stand without him. That's the kind of energy that earns respect and makes a man work harder to keep you in his life. Confidence, boundaries, and healthy communication aren't just fancy words. They are the core of strong relationships, and they are the reason why some women enter a man's life and stay, while others fade away like background noise. When a man looks at you, he's not just noticing your looks or clothes. He's watching how you handle yourself, how you deal with tough moments, and how you clearly express what you want without fear. These three, confidence, boundaries, and communication, fit together. When you have them, you don't just pass a man's quiet tests, you push him to step up. Real confidence starts inside and shows up in ways you might not even notice. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room or constantly proving yourself. It's about walking into a situation knowing your worth without saying much. A confident woman doesn't beg for attention because she knows attention naturally comes to her. She doesn't chase validation because she already validates herself. Men are naturally pulled toward women who know their own value. That energy says, I know who I am, and if you can't match this, you don't get close to me. That's real strength. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel doubt or insecurity. It means you don't let those doubts control you. It means you choose to show up as your best version even when you're unsure, because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. Boundaries are where your confidence truly gets tested. Every man will test your limits at some point, even the good ones, not because they want to hurt you, but because it's human nature to push and see where the line is. If you don't set your limits, someone else will set them for you, and usually lower than you deserve. Boundaries aren't walls, they're standards that guard your peace and your energy. Saying no doesn't make you unkind. Saying no doesn't mean you're hard to love. Saying no makes it clear you know your value and won't accept less than you deserve. And here's what men notice most: consistency. If you say you won't tolerate something, but then allow it when it happens, you've just shown him your boundaries are weak. But when you calmly and firmly stand by what you said, a man sees that you're someone who deserves respect, and he adjusts how he treats you. Healthy communication is the bridge that connects confidence and boundaries. You can be confident, you can have firm standards, but if you can't express yourself in a way that builds connection instead of distance, things fall apart. Men aren't mind readers. If something bothers you, speak up, but do it with respect and honesty. Instead of lashing out, you can say, "I don't like when this happens. Here's what I need instead." That doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. Real communication is about sharing your needs without fear or drama. It's about listening as much as you talk. And it's about creating space where both people feel understood and valued. The beauty of confidence, boundaries, and communication is that they build on each other. The more confident you are, the easier it is to set strong boundaries. The clearer your boundaries, the simpler it becomes to communicate them well. And the more you communicate with honesty, the stronger your confidence grows. Together, they form the foundation that not only helps you pass his silent tests, but also ensures that you are building a relationship that is healthy, balanced, and built to last. And the stronger your communication becomes, the more your confidence grows, because you start to see that you can face any situation with calmness and strength. This mix makes you attractive not only to men, but to everyone you meet. It sets the example for how you want to be treated, and it filters out the wrong kind of energy from your life. Once you master these qualities, you stop chasing attention and instead begin attracting respect, love, and genuine connection. That's when everything truly shifts. Respect and lasting love don't appear by chance. They are created, nurtured, and guarded carefully, and they always start with you. Every man you meet is silently asking himself something. Can I respect her? Can I see myself loving her in the long run? And here's the truth. The answer doesn't come from how you look, what you wear, or even the words you say. It comes from how you carry yourself, how you show up in the relationship, and how you set the standard for the way you want to be treated. If you want love that lasts, the kind that survives the ups and downs of life, you have to understand the keys to earning respect and creating something solid.